I was very fond of the original Watch Dogs game and thoroughly enjoyed Watch Dogs 2. I wanted to love Watch Dogs Legion, but I felt it missed the mark as it ended up being just another open world game by Ubisoft. Now, it is not to say that it is a bad game, not at all, but it should have been so much more. With the familiar experience and somewhat uninteresting story, Watch Dogs Legion has a mechanic that lets you play as anybody, yes, literally anyone, but at the end of the day makes me ask, why should I? The biggest selling point or marketing aspect of Legion is the fact that you can recruit and play as any character in this world, this futuristic fictional version of London, building your army of DedSec soldiers and each character having their own unique abilities. It works as it needs to, but after focusing so much on one single character, I hardly felt the need to swap out as I got so attached to this one character whom, at the end of the day, didn't really matter at all and was easily replaceable. What made it worse, during cutscenes, the NPCs acted as if this new recruit had been there from the very start. The story starts out pretty strong as this fictional version of London has been transformed into some sort of dystopian surveillance state after a number of terrorist attacks fell upon the city. DedSec becoming public enemy number 1 after being framed and thus forcing you and the team to operate secretly. The character you play at the beginning felt very strong and I was immediately interested in this 007 style introduction, curious where this path would take me. But after 10 minutes, he gets killed and thus your journey begins to build your army and play as, well, anyone. As mentioned, this was the highlight of the game's announcement and it works in theory, but as I mentioned, I cared very little about the story and that was only 5 hours into the campaign. Walking the streets of London, you begin to analyze the public, picking and choosing which perks you need, thus you can be very selective on who you hire. Need someone to sneak into a construction site? Hire a construction worker. Need to collect documents near an area with a significant amount of police? No problem, just rent a cop. You see, each character you recruit has their own skills and abilities, but at the end of the day, most of the stuff could be accomplished with my main character, which makes the other recruits pretty pointless. Some operatives has some pretty useless skills like spawning a vehicle, which you can steal at any point anyway, or call for a drone, which becomes impractical indoors. It was fun though seeing my army grow, but I cared very little if some of them died, as here permadeath is a thing, so if you lost one operative, they are not coming back. That caused some tense moment for my main character as some near-death situations caused me to flee instead of fighting. Aside from the looks and some skills, most characters pretty much play the same. I know that I'm talking a ton about the characters, but that has been the big emphasis on Legion. For some reason, Ubisoft cannot do beards in Legion as they look absolutely awful and the voice acting sounds like one person doing all of the lines and each character just having some auto-tune filter on them, thus making the voice sound slightly different and not matching the character at all. Don't even let me get started on the lip syncing. This world Ubisoft has built is stunning to look at. Even running it on a 1070 looks incredible and I'm blown away when I look at videos of this running on a 3070 or next gen consoles. The frames were pretty smooth and I only had a handful of bugs, nothing too severe. The combat feels pretty similar to Watch Dogs 2, although with some improvements to hacking and hand-to-hand combat. Vehicle handling has seen a significant improvement and there are definitely a ton to do aside from the main story. It shouldn't take you longer than 20 hours to complete the campaign, but you can easily lose about 40 hours or more should you focus on the open world itself. Some of the animations in the world does seem missing though, like water splashes from swimming being one of them. It feels that every time Legion hits a high point, there is something that brings it down. The narrative of Legion is overall average, if not a bit dull, as it hits some political aspects, but it ends up dancing around certain areas, almost as if Ubisoft did not want to upset fans, and I kinda wish they just went for it, focusing on the story that they intended. There is also a season pass and multiplayer content, however online is only coming early December, so I cannot really talk about that aspect. It is relatively odd that they would include online into this game but not release it at launch. I can see online making this game significantly better, but again, beginning December, gamers will have their eyes on the year 2077. Had Legion have more of a single focus protagonist with a focus on story, then I feel this could have potentially been the best Watch Dogs game out of the three. I'm not sure if there was ever trouble with development or where the idea came from with the play as anyone, but that I feel is the biggest downfall of Legion. The game definitely has its fun moments, but unfortunately missed the mark and ended up being my least enjoyable out of the franchise. If I had to put a score on this, then I'd easily give it a 6.5 out of 10. I'd like to thank Ubisoft Nordic for providing me with a review key on the Gold Edition for PC, and for more gaming content, check out the rest of my channel. If you enjoyed this video, then give me a thumbs up. If you dislike it, then give me a thumbs down, but please tell me why so I can improve my videos. My name is Frank, I'm the RedTieGuy, and frankly, thank you for watching. Catch you guys in the next video.